Up on Mountain News this morning, the president and CEO of a local college shares how much July's flooding impacted her students and how they learn. And Governor Andy Beshear officially files for re-election and makes several large issues the Commonwealth is facing a part of his platform.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Monday 2.0 and it's 6:32. It's Tuesday. I'm Dakota Makris and I can't believe it's already 6:32. Time flies when you're having fun. Cameron, isn't that right?
That's right.
We're just having a blast here.
We're just having a good old time, especially during those breaks, the commercial breaks. I wish people could see what all we talk about during the breaks.
I have not stopped talking since I walked through the studio door.
That's true.
I know y'all are just fed up with me.
I am. This morning, though, many people may be fed up with the forecast, Dakota, because it's still raining in some places and showers are going to continue for much of the week ahead. Let's go over to I-64 in Moorhead, looking at dry conditions at this location, but showers are not too far away. Current temperature 48 degrees over in Moorhead. Many people, though, waking up in the middle 50s this morning. 54 for Somerset and Hazard, 52 for Pikeville and London, 50 for Irvin, and 51 over in Prestonsburg. Not too bad as you step out the door. We are tracking some showers this morning on satellite and radar. Raining in Jackson, stretching over to near Sturgeon. Also places like Mount Vernon and Rockcastle County getting in on some showers this morning. Heavier showers over southern Pulaski into portions of Wayne County as well. And some of the rain could be a little bit heavy today. Be sure to grab the umbrella before you step out the door. And more showers are possible on Wednesday and Thursday, tracking a cold front on Friday, and then some cooler and drier air by this weekend. So a busy week on tap. That full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Cameron, thank you. Well, several families in Magoffin County were left without a home, cars, and Christmas presents after a devastating fire happened Saturday. And now first responders are stepping up to help. Well, the fire broke out along Buck Creek Road. People woke up to their camper on fire and concerns then turned to a nearby home. Thankfully, everyone, including their pets, made it out okay, but every Christmas present they had was lost in the fire. Now, the Magoffin County Rescue Squad is asking people to drop off toys and clothes for the 9 children who were impacted.
Just seeing the loss that they had, you know, it really hurts. But, you know, just as a community, you know, coming together to help them out really soothes the mind, you know, that we can come together and help them.
Well, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but officials believe it may have been caused by a heater, rather. On Monday night's Issues and Answers, our own Steve Hensley talked with Dr. Jennifer Linden, President and CEO of Hazard Community and Technical College. Well, they discussed how flooding impacted the college's students and staff. She says 50 employees were affected by flooding. Some of their students were living in tents, but now have moved into travel trailers. The college also handed out $500 checks to students through the HCTC Flood Relief Fund.
Out of the 172 that we were able to help, I think 51 of those students completely lost their homes, 22 lost vehicles, and the rest had significant damage. So we had the students complete an application for flood relief, and we had a committee that reviewed that.
Dr. Linden says one of the challenges the college faced was how it would educate after the flood, saying students could not get online for classes because the internet was out or they did not have a home. Well, we've already seen some cold weather, and now is the time to start making sure your car is prepared for the winter weather if you haven't already. Our Olivia Calfee has some tips for you this season.
Cooler weather is upon us, and the chance of icy road conditions and snow have increased, meaning it is important to prepare your car ahead of time for the cold.
Check all your lights, make sure your headlights and your taillights and everything are working, because it gets darker a lot quicker now through the winter months, and you need to make sure all your lights are working properly.
Parts and Service Director Larry Noble says it is important to make sure your car battery is up to par. Check to ensure your antifreeze is full with no leaks, and make sure the protection is good to below 0 degrees.
You need to make sure your washer solvent is good, not just add water because it'll freeze on you. You need to make sure that it's protected good so you can clean your windshield.
And one local towing company owner recommends purchasing a vehicle emergency kit, as well as keeping other supplies in your car in case your car breaks down during the winter.
As a blanket, flashlight, couple of bottled waters, and maybe some kind of heating source.
Remember to wash your car often due to salty roads, which can cause damage on your car's paint.
If you go through a drive-through wash, go through one that sprays underneath the car off as well, because that stuff will get up in your frame and underneath the car and eat away at that stuff as well.
Always make sure your phone is charged before you go anywhere in case of an emergency. In Hazard, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, I think I'm good on the car washing aspect. Well, if you keep your car outside overnight and deal with a frequent frozen windshield, well, there's a defrosting spray that you can buy to help. Well, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has extended the Real ID Act enforcement deadline by 2 years. The new enforcement date is now May 7th, 2025. It was originally May 3rd, 2023. Governor Andy Beshear said the deadline extension offers Kentuckians more time to request a compliant driving or identity credential that ensures air travel access and military base entry. Well, it's been a challenging few years for Kentuckians. First, a global pandemic, followed by 2 natural disasters in western and eastern Kentucky. Governor Andy Beshear says he's proud of how people have responded and looked out for one another. Now he'd like a chance to serve 4 more years as leader of the Commonwealth. He says some of his priorities, if reelected, includes raises to combat the ongoing teacher shortage and continuing efforts to expand economic growth across Kentucky.
Our goal, and we're seeing it happen, is that every generation of Kentuckian that follows us has more opportunity, because I want Will and Lila and every Kentucky child to be able to chase every single dream they've ever had right here in Kentucky.
The Republican Party of Kentucky released a statement Monday afternoon regarding the governor's intent to file, saying in part, quote, Beshear and the Democratic Party do not represent Kentucky values. It went on to say in 2023, the Beshear show will have its final season, end quote. Well, the U.S. House recently passed a bill named after the late wife of Congressman Andy Barr. Carol Barr died from a heart issue in 2020. The Senate passed the Carol Act last week in her honor. The act supports research and raises awareness for valvular heart disease. The bill now heads to President Joe Biden's desk. School safety remains a top concern for many across the nation. Over in West Virginia, many schools have now assigned police officers on site, but that isn't the case for most. And now lawmakers are hearing ideas on how to fill the gap. Curtis Johnson reports.
When your child or grandchild leaves for school, you hope they'll be safe. That almost didn't happen months ago in Jackson County, West Virginia. A gun smuggled onto the bus, the would-be shooter with a target in mind, upon arrival at Ripley Middle School.
We were within a matter of minutes of being headlines on the 6 o'clock news. We were about to be the next national tragedy.
Another student saw the gun, grabbed the magazine, and became the hero. But Sheriff Mellinger knew more had to be done. In speaking to lawmakers Monday, he says he met 2 obstacles: funding and staff. His solution, the SHIELD program, required overtime that forces every Jackson County deputy to spend 2 hours a week monitoring a school of their choice.
So if you can't put an officer in every school, then you make it as random as you can to leave that prospective shooter guessing, is this the day that I meet resistance? Is this the day that they fire back? Does this school have the officer in it today?
A random approach also being pursued in Kanawha County schools. Its safety director telling lawmakers the district plans to hire retired law enforcement to be an armed presence in plain clothes, a team of 12 to rotate among 55 schools with no on-site officer.
They won't be law enforcement. They're there to protect the school, bottom line. Their mission would be to provide protective services to prevent the act of murder or serious bodily injury. That is the goal.
With neither program able to cover every school, lawmakers asked, what happens when a school is not monitored? And how would larger cities, such as Huntington, implement the Jackson County strategy if it were to become state law?
I just think it will be trouble for a city of our size that already doesn't have enough law enforcement officers in the department to be able to carry out the required minimum that he set forth. Now, again, good idea, but we need to refine it to make sure it fits each municipality.
That was Curtis Johnson reporting. Kanawha County Safety Director asked lawmakers to make it easier for counties to hire security personnel. He also asked that small and large schools alike have equal access to any security protocols adopted by the legislature. The 60-day regular session begins next month.
A rainy morning for many people across the mountains this morning. Here's a live look over at UVA-Wise, looking at some raindrops on the camera lens here as more showers continue. Current temperature 50 degrees, so we are above average this morning. And many people waking up in the middle to lower 50s. 52 for Pikeville, 54 in Hazard, and 54 also over in Somerset. So we are tracking some warmer air this morning, and that will continue for the rest of your Tuesday. Showers continue, especially west and along and west of Highway 15 for places like Jackson, down towards Hazard, also for places like Owsley County, stretching into Jackson County as well. More showers into portions of Pulaski, Whitley, and McCreary counties as well. So if you are not looking at the showers this morning, you may see some later on today. Be sure to grab the umbrella before you step out the door. And if you want to go for a run later on today, you may be running into a few showers as well. Dakota?
All right, Cameron, thank you so much. 6:43, still to come here on Mountain News this morning. If a large part of your diet is made up of processed foods, you might want to change things up after you hear the results of a new medical study. That's on the way.